What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, checking out one of the most absurd things I've ever made. That is Spright S-Force, and it's surprisingly pretty good. So, the whole thing with S-Force is basically like the only card that's good. Well, the only card that really does anything in the deck in terms of like getting your plays going is this Rappa card, and it is a quick effect. So basically, you can bring it out from the deck, of course, from Gigantic. In this case, I opened it, so it's a little bit different. You'll see something else, but you can do your Sprite stuff and then get yourself set up because like the best cards in the deck, one of them is the Link 3. And of course, IP Masquerade is the way to get around that. Fortunately, it does require 3 monsters, which is kind of sucks. You wish you could kind of just do it with 2, like every other Link monster in the game. But in any case, it's a imperm, a face-up effect monster. You negate it. It also has a really good battle phase effect that can like move your opponent into these zones, and when it attacks, it banishes all the monsters in the zones. So obviously that's like pretty decent. It's like it's the boss monster of S-Force, and if you're trying to play S-Force, of course, like that's kind of the whole goal. But during your opponent's draw phase, you can banish. Now, this is the hard part. You have to have a S-Force monster to banish, and it used to be like when I was playing this card, if I open it in my hand, it'd be really bad, but you don't really want these cards to be bricks. Of course you don't, because you're playing S-Force. So you can do that, and you can play a card like this, S-Force Plantina. So when this card is summoned, it lets you bring back a banished monster. And actually, this ends up being a pretty good combo. So you can go ahead and bring this card back, and then this searches when it's normal or special summoned. And like this is the important card, really. S-Force Dog Tag. When your opponent normal or special summons, you can bring it out from the hand. Okay, cool. Which kind of seems underwhelming. But during your opponent's main phase, your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters. So it's almost like reverse imperm for like multiple columns. So really, you can start locking your opponent out of columns, you activating monster effects in them. And of course, you're going to go into the S-Force monster. I don't think I two in this duel because you get so much advantage. It's like kind of insane. Another engine that I play is Melffy. It works really well with IP because you do need that extra material. And like my opponent's just going to like normal summon here. It's going to trigger both of these. It actually is kind of like a better way to use the Kalimtosa because normally it just kind of sits there, and then Penny is also there. You can bounce it. Now the cool thing is like with the Melffy engine, it's only like 6 cards or like 5 cards. And if you open Puppy, all you have to do is search Caddy. Like, you don't have to search Wallaby. And if you open up Penny, it's fine too, because you do have a target to search with Puppy. Puppy can search you like a nimble angler. Like, the one thing you don't want it is to be, basically useless and you can't do anything. This is like a one true brick in the deck, so that's like super unfortunate. But it is what it is. Obviously, it's like a very silly deck. But I do think Melffy is worth playing just because of how small it is and how good and effective it can be and how well it works with the other ones. But you're not even going to be able to see this. This is a bounce. Obviously, that's a pop. Now I can go into IP Masquerade, and I can go into the S-Force, Link monster. And then also, like, still leaves me open to this, like, basically, imperm, like I said, which is nice. I just have, like, so much interruption that it's kind of insane. I didn't use Carrot yet, too. Because, of course, like, the Sprite stuff is just, like, really, really good. This is against Dark Magician. I think all of these are the S-Force versions of these combos. This is a very strong opening. Drill's pretty good, right, if I was going second. But I am able to protect myself against hand traps here. We'll see how I do end up playing this. This can probably search me Carrot, right? There's nothing really else to search out at this point. Now I can go into Sprint, sending the Angler, bringing out 2. And I can go to Gigantic, which brings out the Rappa. So like I said, the important thing is that you have to have an S-Force card in your hand in order to use this. So that's like kind of the worst part about the engine. But you can banish a copy of itself, and you can still do some cool stuff. Like IP Masquerade is like super powerful, so I do also feel like you kind of get like the most value out of these 2 cards, right? Wally is like really, really good. Kind of does like its own thing, and you don't really need the imperm effect from this. And then Gigantic doesn't really do anything either, obviously. But this is like a really good, like this is the best setup essentially. So now you can go into Gravino, like if you don't draw it, of course, like you saw in that first replay. Now I have like if my opponent normal or special summons, like there's going to be an imperm. And I still have this effect to go off. So my opponent hasn't really started playing. He was going to go into the battle phase. I can banish that. If he like normal summons Rod, all I have to do is trigger Guard Dog. He can't activate the effect. Go into the Link 3. And I still like had not used like my other cards, like the penny and everything. So it's just really, really, really good. Let's go over to the last replay here. You kind of get the idea. Guard Dog in the opening is fine. Like, seeing these is kind of weird, but I can normal summon Spright Blue. That way I can use it later. It ends up like giving me a lot more value. Like, the Beaver engine is just so good. It just gives you like infinite material, kind of feels like, off of just like any two monsters. You can bring out another copy. I talked about that last duel. And now I can go into blue, which can probably search me care, right? The one thing that really stops this end board here is something like, you know, evenly match. Same setup, so fairly consistent just because Spright searches everything. It literally searches everything like in the deck that you can need, which is really cool. Okay, so now I can go here, searching one more card. So I did open up the Guard Dog this time, and like the more, like if you open up another card, it kind of just gives you a higher end board. So this lets you use it as link material in the hand. So if you already open Guard Dog, you can search something like even just a little bit better. Okay, so he's going to play, and he doesn't pick up Dark Ruler no more, which is like kind of shocking to me. Maybe it was a glitch. Maybe that Dark Ruler no more was imperm, but and I can go for Droll. He does surrender, which is unfortunate, but you kind of saw what the setup looked like. Like, even though my opponent isn't going to like special summon a lot, it's no problem because all of these things just react on normal summon or special summon, like both of these engines. And you know, the link doesn't let your opponent special summon to those zones, so it's like kind of like, I guess, unfortunate against Floowandereeze, but at the same time, it's still another zone that you can use with S-Force Dog Tag, which ends up working out. And obviously, like, one of the materials in your hand, so like this is going to go off, and you'll go into Kalimtos, and then, you know, once Kalimtos has been used, you can just use IP Masquerena with retroactive to really help your plays. But yeah, that is I think like one of the best applications of S-Force, at least that I can think of. Like, I've wanted to play S-Force for a long time, and I think this is like a really playable version. It kind of just like plays to its only strengths, like the few cards in there that are really good, and I just feel like it's a good combination of cards. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.